Good evening. It's Sunday, November 15th, and I'm going to talk a little bit about comfort. It's an odd thing to talk about. It's probably 45 in this room. I'm in the calligraphy room at the City of 10,000 Buddhas. Since it's lockdown, there's no students around, so they don't turn on any heat or build any fires. So I may not look comfortable, but I am. I'm going to talk about how comfort is relative and, what I do to find comfort in my practice. It's not an easy thing to be comfortable. I mean, everybody, it's natural to want to be comfortable. But what is it? What makes people comfortable? Someone is comfortable, on a couch with a beer and some chips and his sweetheart watching a football game while she snores. And another person is comfortable lying on a white sandy beach and swimming in turquoise water. And another person may be comfortable on a precipice that a mountain goat would have trouble walking on, and yet do just fine, no fear, not me. I barely can get up, stand on a curb and not get afraid. When the stock market crashed and I lost a ton of money, a dear friend, a yoga teacher, Denise Kaufman, called me and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about going outside and standing on the curb and contemplate jumping." It's a joke. Anyway, so we all like to be comfortable. And as Dharma practitioners, we got to kind of decide what that is, where you want to take it. Like what do you want to put into your practice? Milarepa, the greatest yogi of our time, except maybe Ramana Maharshi. By the way, speaking of Ramana Maharshi, I read something very interesting the other day, because most people think of Ramana Maharshi as the greatest Hindu yogi of our time. But Ramana Maharshi was asked, I have the quote by someone, "How can I become a great yogi like you?" And Ramana's reply was, "Study Milarepa." Can you believe it? Study Milarepa. He's in South India, near Arunachala, the sacred mountain. And Milarepa, of course, was in the Himalayan snows of Tibet and Nepal. Anyway, the point is, Milarepa was comfortable with one layer of cotton in terrible conditions. We're talking about snowstorms like we have here in Montana, where everything whites out nonstop in the Himalayan mountains. And his food was nettles if he could scrap them up. He probably had to go to the lowlands to find them. So, Milarepa was comfortable like that. I certainly can't be. I got my hat on and my shawl on. So, it's relative. And if we're Dharma practitioners, we have to cultivate comfort. And kind of like in reverse, that worldly people cultivate comfort. So in other words, build your practice, build your goals, and be comfortable with less. And love more. Give more. Want less. Desire less. Desire less. Be desireless. The Buddha says to do all this little by little, bit by bit, and from time to time. 2 days ago I was lying in bed, I was all comfortable, it was raining outside, and I thought it was a good excuse to just kind of kick back in the afternoon. I had already done my practice, 5 or 6 hours in the morning time. And, so it was like 3 or 4, and I was kind of relaxing, and I got so comfortable, it just felt so good just to have an excuse to, the rains hadn't come yet, now they have, and the cold. So I was relaxing away, and then I found my mind just kind of musing on how good it all was. So I thought I'd do something, but I couldn't think of anything I had to do. So I was lying there enjoying it, kind of. Then I decided, this isn't really good for you. So I didn't know what to do, so rather than not have anything to do, or have anything as an excuse, use that as an excuse not to do anything, I just got out of bed and took off my sleeping bag that I had wrapped around me and my shawl. And I just kind of stood there kind of cold, still wondering what I should do. But lo and behold, things started finding me to do something, like clean the room or something, rather than just lie there like a corpse. So I got a bucket of water, and I started washing a few dishes, and even my herb glass, which is like a 20-ounce glass that I just pour herbs in, and then I pour the water in, and I mix it all up, and then I drink it. But I don't clean the glass because I know the next thing that's going to go in there is some herbs. So it was sitting around there for a long time, for a lot of herbs to cake on the glass. That got cleaned also. Floor got swept. I even mopped a little bit outside the room. And the funny thing is, I was wrapped up in my sleeping bag, but after a half hour or so, I was comfortable in, one layer of clothes as I was cleaning and moving about. So, as practitioners, we can find, how to be really comfortable in a very good way that we can grow into comfort that is a kind of comfort that's really good for moving forward and not stagnating. And avoiding bogs and a clogged brain. And not having cravings and hankerings biting you on the back all the time. we can study Milarepa, like Maharshi says. We'll have plenty of time to be ascetics when we die and they throw our body into a fire. Or we get buried, all dressed up really fine. Anyway, I'm just going to close with saying, find your real comfort zone. What comfort is really meaningful for you? Take care. Bye-bye.